be making these sponge stamped cloth napkins. We've got nice square napkins that we're going to be decorating with some paint. Ready to get started?
Yeah, so in our kit, we will have the cloth napkin, of course. Everybody gets one. We'll have a sponge, some paint, and a paintbrush. You can also, you'll want a pair of scissors, and optionally, you'll have a marker and then either a dryer or an iron.
Yeah. All right. So to start off, you need to decide what kind of shape you're going to want to use your sponge for. So we made a fish for these. The way I did it is I cut the sponge in half.
Okay.
So you don't have to use the entire sponge, but you're more than welcome to.
Okay. So we could make multiple stamps if we wanted to.
Exactly.
Okay.
This is a very open, creative type of piece that we're doing today.
Awesome. So what are you going to make?
I think I'm gonna make short little fish instead of the long ones.
Oh, so keeping with the Oceans of Possibility theme for summer reading.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, I think I'll make a starfish then.
Yeah. So you'll just need to get a marker or a pen to be able to draw onto the sponge of where we're gonna end up cutting it out.
Could you do it freehand if you wanted to?
You sure can. So I'm just gonna start off by cutting mine in half, so I don't make it too big. Cutting off some excess.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. So for this part, it's going to be a little tricky. We're going to be cutting into the sponge. I would recommend not cutting all the way down to the scrubber side.
Okay.
Because we're going to use that to kind of be our grip to hold on to it.
Less mess.
Less mess.
I like that.
As much as it can be.
Okay.
So one of the ways that you can do it is you can cut it at an angle to start off, so that you've got this nice little beveled edge. For some of the areas, once you get closer to your design, you may have to go in at a downward angle. So like for me to get this piece, lots of small cuts. And then you can just, because it's a sponge, you can just rip this away. It doesn't have to look perfect. You can go in and with your scissors and cut into the edge if you want. That is totally up to you.
So how'd your fish turn out?
Not too bad. How's your start?
It's okay.
Yeah. All right. So the next part is we're going to actually start painting the sponge.
Okay.
So the napkins themselves do have a little tag to them. So if you wanted the design to be like how we did with this one, because I did mine based off of the fact that it would hang, all the fish are in the same direction. You can do it any way you want.
So like this one, it's a circular pattern.
Right. So when you're painting it, just start thinking about where you want to lay it down, because once you lay one down, it's not really something you can go back and change.
Right, okay. Yeah, it's not washable paint.
Right.
Yeah.
The idea of this is it's going to stick around for a while. So using the brush that we gave you, you don't have to put a lot on the sponges.
Okay.
Depending on how much pressure you put down, will give you different types of look to it. So
Okay. So we're just applying it onto
the
raised portion of our sponge.
Correct. So you're just kind of like you're painting it. You don't need a lot. It will soak into the sponge the more you do it. And a little will go a long way. Now the hardest part. Where am I gonna stamp?
I know the first one's the hardest. I think I'm just gonna do it all the way up in this corner here.
Yeah. I think I'm just gonna make them in
Like a wave?
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, this thing.
And how much pressure do you apply?
I wouldn't do too much to start off, but
Okay.
when you pull it back up, if you wanted to push it down again after you see that if it looks something like light and it's not too what you like, you can push it down a little bit harder.
Okay. So start off with a light pressure.
Yeah. Just to see if it's something you like. So just to be careful, we would recommend you putting something underneath your napkins when you get ready to paint, because the thicker the paint is, the likeliness that it's going to bleed through onto the surface below it. It's not going to be any problem on the other side when it dries, but you want to avoid putting paint on your kitchen table. All right, then just kind of keep repeating, painting the sponge. If you want to go over a spot that maybe you want it to be a little bit darker in certain areas, just try and line it up to the best of your ability and you'll be good to go.
Could you use your paintbrush to kind of fill in some missing holes?
You could, because these are sponge brushes also, so they'll give the same texture.
Okay.
I would just make sure that it doesn't have like a lot of paint on it, so that it won't be, it will be faster to dry.
That makes sense.
So how'd it go?
I think it turned out well.
Yeah.
How about yours?
It was so much fun.
So cute.
So while we only gave you one color, you do have the option of, if you have acrylic or fabric paint at home, you can do more colors yourself.
What kind of paint did we use?
We just used regular old acrylic.
Okay.
So this is something else that was done. So it had more shapes and more colors.
I love the detail on your shells.
Just adding the paint to the sponge and then you put it on there. That's what I did.
Very cool.
So while everything looks like it's done, there is only a few steps left. We suggest that you let this dry for a full 24 hours before we do the setting.
Okay.
So what you'll want to do once this is completely dry is you're going to want to apply heat to it. You can either use a dryer or an iron. You don't want to add, if you're using an iron, you do not want to have any kind of steam to it, just direct heat. And
can you put something in between the napkin and the dryer to protect it? Or?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
So doing that, setting it, that just means that it's going to keep the paint inside the fabrics.
Okay. So we can wash them.
Yeah, you'll be able to wash them, reuse them, which is perfect for the summer.
Yeah, I can't wait to use it for a summer barbecue.
That'll be so much fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, really hope that you guys share what you have designed. Cannot wait to see what all the creative people decide to do.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.